Speaker, let me thank you for the opportunity to make comments for and on behalf of the minority caucus as we draw the curtains down on this important matter. Mr. Speaker, permit me to precede my submissions with a quote from the book of Daniel, chapter 6, verses 12 to 28. Mr. Speaker, it provides that some men rushed into the upper chamber of Daniel's home and found him praying and pleading before his God. Then they went to remind the king about the prohibition. Did you not decree, O king, that no one is to address a petition to a god or man for 30 days, except to you, O king? Otherwise, he shall be cast into a den of lions. The king answered, the decree is absolute, irrevocable under the Mede and Persian law. To this they replied, Daniel, the Jewish exile, has paid no attention to you, O king, or to the decree you issued. 3 times a day he offers his prayer. The king was deeply grieved at this news. He made up his mind to save Daniel. He worked till sunset to rescue him. But these men insisted. They said, keep in mind, O king, that under the Mede or Persian law, every royal prohibition or decree is irrevocable. So the king ordered Daniel to be brought and cast into the lion's den. To Daniel he said, may your God, whom you serve so constantly, save you. To forestall any tampering, the king sealed with his own drink and the rings of the lords the stone that had been brought to block the opening of the den. Then the king returned to his palace for the night. He refused to eat, and he dismissed the entertainers. Since sleep was impossible for him, the king rose very early the next morning and hastened to the lion's den. As he drew near, he cried out to Daniel sorrowfully, O Daniel, servant of the living God, has the God whom you serve so constantly been able to save you from the lions? Daniel answered the king, O king, live forever. My God has sent his angel and closed the lion's mouth. So they have not hurt me, for I have been found innocent before him. Neither to you have I done any harm, O king. This gave the king great joy. At his order, Daniel was removed from the den unhurt because he trusted in his God. The king then ordered the men who accused Daniel, along with their children and their wives, to be cast into the lion's den. Then King Darius wrote to the nations and the peoples of every language, wherever they dwell on earth, all peace to you. I decree throughout my royal domain, the God of Daniel is to be reverenced and feared, for he is a living God, enduring forever. His kingdom shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be without end. He is a deliverer and a savior, working signs and wonders in the heaven and on earth. And he delivered Daniel from the lion's power. Mr. Speaker, I proceed further with a quote from the 26th President of the United States of America, Theodore Roosevelt, on the 23rd of April, 1910. He addressed citizens of Paris on a speech titled Citizenship in a Republic at Sorbonne in Paris. Mr. Speaker, this was during his post-presidential tour of Europe. In veritable words, he reminded the world of one enduring truth. Quote, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows, in the end, the triumph of high achievements, and who at the worst, if he fails, at the least fails while doing greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat." To this end, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge my colleagues in the minority that although we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we must fear no evil. Let's remain strong. Refuse to be intimidated. Refuse the subtle culture of silence. Let's soldier on. Victory awaits us. Mr. Speaker, the old wise saying reminds us that rising to eminence by merit, you live respected and die regretted. On this note, and with a heavy heart but clear duty, I come before you, Mr. Speaker, having defended budget in good times and reforms in difficult ones. I have stood on both sides of this aisle. I have seen government rise and fall and witnessed both the best of our democracy and sometimes its worst. But, Mr. Speaker, rarely have I encountered a budget statement so detached from reality, so hollow in its promises, and so dangerous in its implications as the 2026 budget now before us. This is not a document of hope. It is not a blueprint for transformation. It is not even an honest accounting of our nation's condition. Mr. Speaker, this budget is built on propaganda, sustained by abandonment, and destined to deepen the suffering of ordinary Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, simply put, this is not a budget. It is a national retreat disguised as a national plan. But, Mr. Speaker, this government must keep in mind that it keeps repeating that it inherited a collapsed, comatose, lifeless economy in January 2025. But the World Bank, not the minority, not the MPP, but the World Bank, in its official Ghana review overview updated on October 6, 2025, records the truth. Quote, "Stabilization has improved conditions with 2024 growth at 5.7%. Mr. Speaker, this must sink. 5.7% real GDP growth in 2024 before this government touched the wheel. Now compare that with their own projections. In their 2025 budget, they projected growth at 3.3%, a collapse of 2.4 percentage points. Even the World Bank's generous assessment reaches only 4.3% for 2025. And for 2026, this budget promises 4.8%. The arithmetic is brutal. The 2024 under Nanado's MPP, 5.7 growth, this has been certified by the World Bank. 2025 under NDC, 3.3% to 4.3% growth, according to their own figures. Then the 2026, under the same NDC, they project 4.8%. If 5.7% growth is comatose, What name should we give to 3.3%? Paralyzed, dead, or arrival? By their own numbers, the economy is now performing worse than the so-called collapse they claim they inherited. The truth is merciless. MPP handed over a stabilized, recovering economy growing at 5.7%. The NDC slowed it at 3 to 4%. Mr. Speaker, when you slow down faster than the dead economy you inherited, you cannot claim to have inherited ruins. This grand deception is the foundation of everything that follows. Every abandoned program, every misprioritized allocation, and every constitutional violation. Once this lie is exposed, everything else begins to crumble. It's the reason why I reminded my colleagues that if you rise to eminence by merit, you live respected. Now your lies, your propaganda, stand exposed after you lie to the people. Mr. Speaker, let me turn to the human consequences of this deception. 6 Ghanaian women died in a stampede at Elwak Stadium. They were not there because they all dreamed of becoming soldiers. They were there because in an economy where jobs have vanished and opportunity has been strangled, any recruitment exercise looks a lifeboat. Those young women died because desperation met poor preparation in a context of mass joblessness. Mr. Speaker, their deaths are not random. They are a direct consequence of policy abandonment. They are human costs of government that has slowed economic growth and quietly killed the very programs that once absorbed labor and gave young people hope. If planting for food and jobs was still robust, if 1D1F was still expanding, if Agenda 111 was employing workers across the country, the probability of thousands of desperate young women piling up at the gate would have been far lower. Before we discuss billions and percentages, let us remember, their death must not be in vain. Their budget must be judged by whether it prevented another Elwak or guarantees more. On that test, Mr. Speaker, this budget fails catastrophically. Mr. Speaker, Elwak was not an isolated incident. It was a direct consequence of economic policy that has methodically dismantled every viable pathway to employment. Consider the evidence. 32% of youth aged 15 to 24% are unemployed. These statistics reflect a challenge we inherited when we assumed office in 2017. Yet we actively address these through structured programs. Planting for food and jobs, 1D1F, Agenda 111, and the Youth Start, entrepreneurial funding and training. Whilst imperfect, these programs constituted a functioning employment architecture that delivered 5.7 economic growth. This government's response, systematic demolition. They eliminated the PFJ without replacement, 1D1F cancelled, they abandoned Agenda 111, and what do we see? Stagnation. Having dismantled the working solution, they now offer an uncosted fantasy of 800,000 new jobs and a betrayed manifesto promise. Where is the 1 million coders that has been reduced to 100 million without targets, alongside declining growth to 3.3%? Let me be blunt. Their priorities are in the least a scandal. They can find billions for new presidential jets, yet find a fraction of that for their jobs for the youth. What matters more, the comfort of a new presidential jet or the survival of millions on the ground? Mr. Speaker, this is not just hypocrisy. It is a declaration of war on the aspiration of our children. The young women at Elwak did not just die. They were sacrificed on the altar of political vanity and breathtaking incompetence. We will not stand for it. Ghana's youth deserve better than ghost programs and empty promises. They deserve the ladder of opportunity this government so cruelly destroyed. Mr. Speaker, let me now turn to the budget itself. This budget, Mr. Speaker, this budget is a cut and paste budget. When we say the successes of Nanado government is as a result of solid foundation laid by his administration, the NDC start to fight. But look at pages 74, 75 to 76, paragraphs 519 to 533. It is a complete cut and paste budget. They claim we have a ministry for works and housing, with all the 60 ministers, with all the appointees in cabinet. They could not open their eyes to see that they were selling something to Parliament that they themselves have not defined as part of the ministries. Mr. Speaker, how can you, at paragraph 519, claim that there's a Ministry of Railway Development? How can you, at paragraph 528, say that Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, and then at paragraph 523, again say Ministry of Works and Housing? Where was the deputy minister who could have paid attention to these details and dotted the I's? Where were the ministers? And this document has been brought to Parliament. In the list, this document might be withdrawn and a new budget brought before Parliament. Parliament will not accept this cut and paste budget, and all the things you have in there are things that you pulled from the previous budget and pasted them. Where is the Ministry for Railway and Development? Mr. Speaker, our friends have been exposed. A lazy attitude in preparation of a national document for Parliament. How could it have been a mistake? This is not a mistake. This is incompetence. This is clear that you did not prepare the budget with due diligence. Else you won't come and tell us Ministry for Works and Housing, Ministry for Railway Development, and write anything because you think you have the numbers to say yeah. We, the minority, the mighty minority, will scrutinize. And you can choose to use the courts and other means, together with your numbers, to get all of us out of this chamber. We will still protest and scrutinize you outside of this chamber. Mr. Speaker, at paragraph 33, page 5 of the budget, this is what they say. That, Mr. Speaker, the year 2025 has unfolded against a backdrop of deepening global uncertainty, heightened trade disputes, persistent geopolitical tensions, and uneven monetary tightening across major economies have damaged global confidence and investment flows. Mr. Speaker, these are the words of the finance minister. Since when, Mr. Speaker, did global economic uncertainties affect the economy of Ghana? When you were in opposition, you failed to accept that global economic challenges had effects on Ghana. Today, in presenting your national budget, you are blaming global uncertainties has haven't affected you. Mr. Speaker, our friends have been exposed. Their hypocrisy now known to the people of Ghana, that this is not a group of principled political leaders, but a group of convenience political leaders. Each day in government, they change their positions. They change authority. as and when it pleases them. Mr. Speaker, we will hold them to account, we will expose them, we will scrutinize every move of them. Even if they use subtle ways to reduce our numbers, even if we are left with one in this chamber, we will put the heat at their feet and make life uncomfortable for them. Mr. Speaker, today, if you read paragraph 902 all the way to 905, this government claims that GNPC will be drilling oil in 2026. Mr. Speaker, a critical question must be asked. Whether or not GNPC can undertake major exploration, especially drilling in the Volta Basin, with such drastically reduced funding. And then, Mr. Speaker, they claim that we as a country, we are going to generate our own power. This power that we are going to generate, have you first dealt with the inefficiencies in the system? Because, Mr. Speaker, currently, there is excess capacity. The take or pay agreement we have, that is costing so much money. You haven't dealt with it, and you say you are going to set up a new system, a new thermal plant, using future savings to do that. Is it another scandal in waiting? Mr. Speaker, if the majority and its government do not avail themselves for the minority, as few as we are, with our might and intellect to scrutinize you, you may go down in history as the most corrupt government in the history of Ghana. Avail yourselves and let us scrutinize you. Mr. Speaker, look at ECOWAS, the ECOWAS sub-regional growth. Mr. Speaker, table 4, page 8 of the budget. Clearly, table 4 explains why the mighty minority says that this budget is growthless, jobless, and hopeless. Mr. Speaker, the Ghanaian story, when compared to our peers in ECOWAS, is nothing good to write home about. From their own table 4 at page 8, it is clear all other countries in the sub-region did so well in terms of their growth. Mr. Speaker, if you walk through this list one by one, their incompetence is exposed. We are asking them, where are the jobs? Ejumanu wahi. Where is the 24-hour economy? It is clear that the 24-hour economy no atonsio. Mr. Speaker, let's go to the industrial sector. Reference Appendix 1C, page 15. The NPP administration left a burgeoning industry sector that grew at 7.1%. Mr. Speaker, growth in that sector has declined to a paltry 3.6% in 2025. This decline is due to the lack of activity in the construction subsector. Numbers don't lie. Whereas construction subsector grew at 9.6% in 2024, growth in the sector has declined to 2.9% in 2025. Now you see why we have been clamoring for you to pay contractors. Even your own ministers, 2025, did not have their releases. Non-payment of arrears owed contractors means they have to move away from sites. Most road projects initiated have been abandoned. Agenda 111 have been abandoned. Contract construction is the bedrock of the industrial sector. A lot of Ghanaians get their daily bread when construction booms. You cannot profess a certain big push agenda and not pay hard-working contractors. You cannot profess big push agenda and whilst projects started by the previous government is stalled. Mr. Speaker, the NDC administration must learn to pay contractors, continue road projects started by the MPP administration, continue the Agenda 111, continue the numerous projects in the educational sector, complete the bypass on the Accra-Kumasi Road, complete the Kaswa-Winneba Road, finish the Adenta-Dodua Road, finish the Tamapampram stretch, complete the Swami interchange, and finish the PTC interchange. Mr. Speaker, the NPP administration under Nana Akufo-Addo has a record of over 13,000 kilometers of road. Mr. Speaker, the 13,000 kilometer plus road construction under the Nanadu government, Mr. Speaker, can never be matched by this administration. Mr. Speaker, now let's look at revenue, fiscal performance. May I refer them to Appendix 2A at page 154 of the budget. Mr. Speaker, in presenting the budgets in March 2025, the minister projected total revenues and grants of 224.93 billion, representing 16.1% of GDP. Mr. Speaker, the minority told the NDC to stop the voodoo forecasting because it was unachievable and that the figures were cooked just to make the budget look good. Mr. Speaker, unperturbed in the mid-year budget review, they presented a further revised revenue and grant upwards to 229.9 billion, representing 16.4% of GDP. Again, we warn them to desist from deceiving the Ghanaian public and potential investors. What do we see now? The Minister of Finance and his government have finally revised the end-year projected revenue and grant to 226.4 billion, a whooping 3.5 billion difference. Is this competence? Incompetence. Mr. Speaker, the bizarre aspect of all of this is that they disregarded the full facts and figures. They programmed to rake in 162.6 billion in the first 9 months of the year. And this programming was done significantly in July. Mr. Speaker, in the first 9 months, you were able to only get 11.1%. What are you hiding from the Ghanaian people? How can you raise 72 billion in 3 months when you only had 154 billion in 9 months? You can project big revenue, but actual performance would expose you. I repeat, you can project big revenue, but actual performance will expose you. Mr. Speaker, a word to the wise is enough. Now, Mr. Speaker, let us look at expenditure. Expenditure as the presidency has ballooned. Expenditure at the presidency has ballooned. It is in excess of 1.5 billion cedis. The deputy minister can shake his head, but I wish he could state this for the record. Perhaps he doesn't know what is contained in the budget. Perhaps he doesn't know what is contained in the budget. We, the mighty minority, have read the budget in full, and we know the details. Mr. Speaker, they fail to provide for the private sector. They fail to create opportunities, yet at the presidency alone, they are spending in excess of 1.5 billion cedis. Mr. Speaker, let me turn to the women banking sector. Mr. Speaker, I want to remind the NDC that they cannot deceive the Ghanaian people. I refer them to Appendix 4A of page 174 of the budget. Mr. Speaker, they claim that they are providing 401 million to start the women banking. Mr. Speaker, what they try to hide are the things I'm going to tell the Ghanaian people. At 9:30, there's supposed to be a minimum capital, which capital must be unimpaired. Now, the minimum capital requirement for opening a bank, establishing a bank, is 400 million. That 400 million, you can't touch it. So if you say you are providing 400 million to establish the women banking, what money are you going to use to provide the loans? Mr. Speaker, in the 2025 budget, you did nothing about the women banking. Now you are providing for 400 million to establish a bank. What are you going to give out as loans? Again, you have deceived the women of this country. 2025 provided nothing, then in 2026 too, nothing. Mr. Speaker, the 24-hour economy has now become a chorus. If you go through the budgets, paragraph 431, paragraph 458, paragraph 479, Mr. Speaker, there's one chorus. They even described it at 24 economy plus and 24-hour economy, which is which? Every paragraph, you precede it with 24-hour economy. So what is the meaning of 24-hour economy? The one job, three shifts in way. Okay, nichuma baba. Engbe nichuma yo. Abibo. Abibo ake engbe nichuma yo. Mr. Speaker, the people of Ghana are asking the NDC 2025, 2026, even 2025, we can forgive you because you are just come. But what about 2026? What are the variables? What are the policy measures you've introduced to inspire growth, to create employment? Mr. Speaker, at ECG, even where you had an opportunity to use electricity tariffs as an incentive to develop this 24-hour economy, you failed. This year alone, you have increased tariffs by 18%. 18% across board. How do you, without introducing reforms, burden the ordinary Ghanaian to pay more taxes, to pay more tariffs? Added to that was your 1 Ghana cedi per petrol diesel bought at the pump. What have you done? You claim that you are taking away e-levy, yet in the dead of night, you introduce the Doomsday levy, you introduce 18% electricity tariffs, and in the same vein, you claim that you are going to provide an incentive for economic growth and for businesses to work all night. What a hypocrisy. What a double standard. What an unprincipled government. Mr. Speaker, this government claims that it is going to develop Ghana. I want to ask a simple question. What have you provided for? Agriculture. Go through the budget on agriculture. You abandon the planting for food and jobs. You are rather giving more money to the gold board and abandoning our farmers. Akufo-Addo constructed no less than 12 landing beach sites at our coast. Go to the fishery subsector. What have you provided for them? Zero. Nothing. Yet you say we should praise you. All the monies you have provided for giving to Galamsey activities through Gold Board, are you making a distinction between regularly mined gold and illicit gold? All we know is that Bank of Ghana is releasing dollars for Gold Board to buy gold. There is no transparent accounting system. But we tell you, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, all the transactions and the Gold Board, where the exchange rate losses, the differentials, went to you would account for them. Mr. Speaker, let me proceed to deal with another issue, public debts. Mr. Speaker, recently the Vice President of our Republic raised this issue of public debts. Mr. Speaker, specifically, paragraphs 199 to 201 at page 32. This is what the NDC, Mr. Speaker, this is what they say. They claim that the public debt decline, the public debt to GDP declined from 68.9% as at end of 2020, September 2024, to a 45% a year later due to the debt exchange program. You go to the Ghanaian people and tell them that the debt exchange program was bad. But today you are taking credit for the debt exchange program. You are telling the people of Ghana now, after you had gotten power, the DDEP significantly lowered the debts. The agreement reached last year with commercial creditors, particularly Euro bond holders, helped a lot in debt reduction. The last leg with official bilateral creditors having become effective is the final bit. This is not prudent debt management, according to you. You are actually now adding to the debt stock. So when you meet IMF and the World Bank, you praise the Akufo-Addo administration for the steps taken in stabilizing the economy. Yet, when you meet the full soldiers, you lie to them. You will be exposed. Your hypocrisy is now known to all. You are now known as a government of convenience. Your principle is lost on you. Nobody takes you serious. Mr. Speaker, let me refer to paragraph 364 at page 54 of the budget. This is what the NDC government says about the Electoral Commission. Quote, Mr. Speaker, in 2025, the Electoral Commission delivered on its constitutional mandate with professionalism and transparency. Following the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections, the Commission conducted election for the confirmation of 261 metropolitan, municipal, district chief executives. It also organized the rerun of Ablekuma North parliamentary elections, conducted Akwatia by-elections, and supervised the Council of State elections for 16 regional representatives. Mr. Speaker, today, this same NDC is now crucifying the Electoral Commission through a questionable petition. Mr. Speaker, again, the governance of convenience has been exposed. Mr. Speaker, we thought that after coming to power and claiming that everything was in shambles, they will come around with a new idea. Mr. Speaker, Omubaye, Omasem ni se Ghana bibia nkoso, omu de adwuma eba, enkola no yemba no anadwo ombenye adwuma ye wo dokra obetumi adwa anadwo. Omu se electricity bo beko fom. Omu se adwuma ebeba ende ankronkro adwuma na MPP abreso omo de ba ya na yesema ye nje omo tax no se adwuma ni nyina collapse. NDC aban endro nkoa e wo mo budget ni mu. Mr. Speaker, omo de VAT enkane no na omo ye adwuma e wo makola e wo magazine omo wo flat system 3% and there omo training na mu 3% no nanka enkane no small scale businesses no anu so omo ya no omo atwamu Ese omo ye reform. The speaker Ghana etie. Enti abeka no kra no. Mr. Speaker, Mrs. Subio. And omo baye electricity boa kosro. Who got petrol 1 liter bi omo je 1 Ghana cedi. With the Okada, got petrol. With the motorbike, got petrol. Omo je 1 Ghana cedi. And so omo say omo de adwuma ba. Mr. Speaker. Ba omo baye yenya ye ni tua. Eye sikadie nkwa. So far, Mr. Speaker, on one kasa ka say tax waiver and yet, and say, Mr. Speaker, sika and come to me at the development. Almost $10 million. $10 million. And come with the achatata. One company, $10 million. Mr. Speaker, me was at $10 million way. And can bet to me the ayem puntu juma. I will enkra bebre. Mr. Speaker, instead of granting tax waiver to one company of $10.4 million, that money could have been used to construct more roads, to construct more schools. But Mr. Speaker, they chose convenience. Mr. Speaker, the year of Wokrani said, almost your koto aeroplane can see at the amount man penny so friend to quine. Now we share aeroplane no boy, echo billions, Mr. Speaker, or p. And so, and Kolani here Juma Aye. And almost your koto aeroplane. I'm on paying some friend to cry. And so, and can almost say, what to plane more man paying and ya the papa. Into one cast of principles no way. Mr. Speaker, the NDC, when agriculture stops absorbing labor, when factories stop hiring, when construction sites shut down, young people go somewhere. Too many, they are going into illegal mining. Our rivers are turning brown. Our forests disappearing. Our cocoa farms are being destroyed. Communities are being poisoned. Yet in this budget, no bold, well-funded alternative livelihood program is being initiated. Mr. Speaker, let me go to the gold board. This government has surrendered to the Galamsey activities. And let me be very clear. Let me even make it graver. This government has become its enabler. In this budget, government announces a gold board purchase, announces a gold board to purchase gold from small-scale miners. But Mr. Speaker, recently, Professor Adai warned us that the gold board will become a state laundering mechanism for Galamsey gold. They are not fighting illegal mining. The NDC government, through gold board, is rather financing it. This is giving it state endorsement. So all that they do, claiming that NIMO is out there to enforce, is falsehood. Today, members of NIMO are getting hurt, shot at, dying needlessly in a fight their own government has abandoned. But let us remember, this is a country that lost 8 innocent souls, including top 2 ministers, on their way to a program fighting illegal mining. 8 lives, 2 ministers, all in service of the fight against Galamsey. And yet their own government is today demonstrating neither the seriousness nor the commitment necessary to defeat illegal mining. Instead, It has set up a gold board to buy gold it cannot trace, from miners it cannot verify, in a system designed for complicity rather than enforcement. This is horrifying. This is a betrayal of those 8 souls. It is a betrayal of every soldier risking their life. It is a betrayal of every Ghanaian who wants cleaner water and future for their children. If this government cannot trace the gold, it must not buy the gold. Mr. Speaker, let me now turn to their infamous sanitary pad scandal. Numbers don't lie. In July 2025, the Finance Ministry said the price of sanitary pads had been reduced from 25 cedis to 15 cedis. At that price, the 6.6 million they projected was supposed to cost 99 million. Yet in 2026 budget statement, the Education Ministry is stated to have spent 45 cedis per pad, totaling 292 million cedis. So how come the 15 cedis per pad now rose to 45 cedis per pad? Mr. Speaker, the gap between 292 million and 99 million is 193 million cedis. Mr. Speaker, this raises serious questions. This is a huge scandal with a large amount of 193 million ending up where? Mr. Speaker, the NDC government must come clean and explain this to the people of Ghana. We cannot sweep this under the carpet. We cannot be quiet. We will not be mute. You cannot shut us. You cannot use your numbers. And perhaps, if not satisfied, add a presiding officer to it to crush the minority. We will be loud, we will be clear, we will be bold and confront the misgovernance. Mr. Speaker, this 2026 budget must be rejected, not out of spite, but out of duty. Not to score points, but to defend the future. Not to win an argument, but to prevent another LWAC. Not in defiance of the Constitution, but to defend it. Mr. Speaker, our friends appear clueless. Our friends appear not to understand the very mandate that has been given them by the people of Ghana. Every single thing they say, they do the opposite. Every single promise they make, they resolve. A question must be asked. Can they point to a single social intervention program since they assumed office in 2025 January? Can the NDC point to a single social intervention program that they have initiated since January 2025? Mr. Speaker, for the avoidance of doubt, when Ghanaian people mention free SHS, they know who Akufo-Addo. When the Ghanaian people mention health insurance, they know Kufuor. We can boast of the free maternal care. Mr. Speaker, if the Ghanaian people mention school feeding, they know of MPP. If the Ghanaian people mention free maternal care, they know of MPP. If the Ghanaian people mention health insurance policy, they know MPP. Mr. Speaker, public transport, investment in public transport. They even called it Kufuor bus. They know MPP. Mr. Speaker, when the Ghanaian people hear of the almighty free SHS, they know of MPP. Mr. Speaker, but when the Ghanaian people mention a government that abandoned job creation and decided to buy an aeroplane for the president to fly in, they know of NDC. When the Ghanaian people mention leadership of deceit, hypocrisy, propaganda, they mention NDC. Mr. Speaker, when the people of Ghana mention of deceit in the implementation of one job, three shifts, they mention NDC. Mr. Speaker, when they mention the double standard government that said it frowns against tax waiver, yet comes into this chamber claiming that it is rather streamlining a contract signed by the previous government and grant a whooping $10.4 million to a single entity, they mention NDC. Mr. Speaker, I want to challenge the NDC. If indeed the Tata contract was that bad, go and cancel it. Go and cancel it. We don't want you to streamline it. Don't come and protect anybody. Go and cancel it. Come back to Parliament for the review of the resolution and cancel the contract. Cancel it. $10.4 million to one company. Mr. Speaker, our friends in the NDC, it appears that they got the power, they are dazed, they have lost control in just 12 months. Today, there are ministers who appeared in this chamber. Anytime we ask them, have you received your releases? They are unable to answer. I want each of the ministers to dare the minority and be bold and state for Hansard whether indeed they received their releases. They received nothing. The government could not even prioritize its own programs. The government could not even implement its own programs. Ministers were left idle. Ministers were abandoned. Ministers became redundant. For those who were privileged to be members of this house, they found refuge in this house. This was their hiding place. They made themselves busy by always coming to this chamber instead of being at their offices to execute government business. Because Sikanu Wahi, Yebisa, almost say Ato forcing. Yebisa, Ato forcing. Ato is indeed forcing. Ato is indeed forcing. Ato, you are forcing. You are forcing. You are forcing. You are forcing the youth out of jobs. You are forcing to get 18% electricity tariffs. You are forcing to ensure that you create a new VAT basket to compel many of our small-scale businesses to get into this new threshold. And Mr. Speaker, you know what you're going to do? Ato, you are forcing many people out of jobs. Hey, if you meet this minister, say Ato is forcing. No, it's not me. Oh, it's Ato. It's Ato. Hey, Ato. Mr. Speaker, to conclude, even Parliament is given a paltry sum. Parliament has not been given sufficient allocation for its activities. Is it the government that cares? Must Parliament beg the government for its releases? Must government be begged for money to undertake its activities? Mr. Speaker, today, after succeeding in what I will call, the minority will call, judicial capture. They are on their way to ensuring electoral commission capture. But we tell you one thing, no matter what you do, no matter the intimidation, we, the mighty minority, we know that the better days of our country are ahead of us. We would hold your feet to the fire, would expose your incompetence, all your promises you made that you are unable to fulfill. We will not allow you to use propaganda to distract anybody. We will stay on course and hold you account to the very things you promised. Mr. Speaker, the finance minister was not here, but at the risk of being repetitive, Ghana Railway Development Authority, is there any railway ministry? Is there a Works and Housing Ministry? Go and check page 74, page 75 to page 76. Finance Minister, perhaps we may forgive you because you have an added responsibility at the Defense Ministry. Because they want you to buy the aircraft before you leave there. They want you to buy the presidential aircraft. Otherwise, why have they not appointed a new Defense Minister? They want you to finish that transaction. But your Deputy Minister and your technocrats, the various ministers, including the Roads and Highways Minister, where were they? Did this budget go to cabinet? Did they read over this budget? Finance Minister, this has never happened in the history of this country. You bring a budget of mistakes. You don't read over your budget. So, Mr. Speaker, by extension, every figure in this budget is compromised. We must now watch your figures again. That is how come you claim that within 3 months, you are going to achieve 74 billion in revenue, when over 9 months, you could achieve nothing much. Mr. Speaker, I shall conclude by urging the Finance Minister to take a cue from all the submissions from this side of the House, having exposed all the inaccuracies in this budget, all the propaganda in this budget, including all the submissions I have made at this dispatch box, specifically on pages 74, 75, and 76. To, without delay, and let me use a legal terminology, withdraw this budget statement forthwith and go back and do the right thing. Mr. Speaker, I rest my case.